It's a competition clinching shot. Whoa! How about that?
The LET Golf Podcast, the official podcast of the Ladies European Tour.
Okay, hello, welcome to the first ever episode of the LET Golf Podcast. So it's a new podcast from the Ladies European Tour, and we're going to be taking you inside the ropes of the LET to chat to all the stars of the show, Solheim Cup legends to Q-School rookies and, well, everyone in between, I guess. I'm George Cooper, and I'm delighted to be joined by media official Nicola Kenton. Nicola, how are you doing today?
Hi, George. I'm all good, thank you. How are you?
I'm really good, yeah. Are you excited for the new season?
Yes. Season is now underway, and we're ready to go for the rest of the year.
Yes, we sure are. Now, on today's episode, we've got a fantastic guest joining us shortly for the first episode. We've got none other than five-time winner and Solheim Cup shoo-in, Maja Stark, chatting to yourself shortly. She obviously had a phenomenal 2022, and she's now looking ahead to an even more phenomenal 2023, hopefully. But before that, Nicola, the season's now underway, and we've got a record-breaking schedule taking place. Talk us through it, what we've got to expect this year.
Yeah, so this year on the LET, as you said, it's record-breaking. We've got 30 tournaments taking place in 21 countries across the year, plus, obviously, as you just mentioned, the Solheim Cup, a prestige event in September. So the first tournament actually happened last week in Kenya. So the LET season is underway, and we go right through until November. The purse is at least 35 million euros this year, which is the biggest that it's ever been. So the most prize money on offer that we've ever had to our players. We've got 421 members on the tour this year, which is an increase from last year, including 84 rookies. Obviously, with the COVID pandemic a couple of years ago, we had a lot of rookies who stayed at college for another year or so to complete their time in the States. And now they're all turning professional and coming to join us on tour. So another big rookie class for 2023. We have players from 38 different nationalities representing on the LET. So very much a worldwide tour, and we can't wait to get underway this year.
And obviously, you mentioned the first event is now in the history books. So we had the Magical Kenya Open, which happened this weekend. And we had a fan favourite returning to the winner's circle. So you were there. Give us a quick recap of the event.
Yeah, so as was last year, we started the season in Kenya at Vipingo Ridge, which is in Kilifi County. So it will be the third time that the tour went. The first time we went was back in 2019 at the end of the season for the finale, where Esther Henseleit won. Esther also defended her title last year in 2022 and came back this year for a third time. But as you say, it was not Esther who was in the winner's circle this time. We had a different winner. So it was India's Aditi Ashok. Aditi actually finished as runner-up to Esther back in 2019 at Vipingo Ridge. So she likes the course. She knows how to play around there. And she did a wire-to-wire victory last week, led from the first round all the way to the last putt on 18. Basically, it was star of the show for most of the week, proved her worth. She was an invite coming into the week as she finished 100th on the Race to Costa del Sol last season. So she bides her time between the LPGA Tour and the LET, having cards on both. And obviously now, as you say, returned to the winner's circle for the first time since 2017 when she won in Abu Dhabi. She normally wins at the end of the season. So her previous victories all came in October, November time. Whereas obviously getting the win underway in February, different start to the season for her. But she was very pleased to be back in that winner's circle and feels as if she's kind of back to where she was pre-COVID. Obviously, COVID had effect on players in lots of different ways. And Aditi felt that she lost some of her strength. So she's hitting the ball longer again. She's able to do what she could a couple of years ago. And yeah, she thinks she's back to her best. And she certainly proved it last week with a performance to, put her name back in the rankings and back on the map again. And hopefully she'll continue that. So she now, with that win, heads into the next event and also gets a spot in the Aramco Saudi Ladies International. So that win has really opened up the start of her season.
Yeah, doesn't get much better than that, does it, to start the year?
No.
And obviously, Kenya itself, I was watching on TV, and I've got to ask, because you were there, I was seeing all sorts happening: giraffes, zebras, monkeys. Like, is it really as cool as it looks? How is it out there?
Yes, it is. So obviously there's always some kind of wildlife at the resort in Kenya, but during COVID, they actually became a wildlife sanctuary. So they took in and homed a lot of animals. Hence why there are now giraffes and zebras and oryx and waterbuck and all the monkeys and everyone. So the monkeys were there before, but the giraffe and zebras specifically came in during COVID because they needed somewhere to live, basically. So Vipingo Ridge rescued them and brought them to the resort. And then obviously now there are always wildlife rangers there looking after the animals, but they come out, and if you haven't seen the TV clips, they come out onto the 10th green and fairway. They wander over all the way across to 18 and have a little drink from the water feature that's in the middle of 18 and 9. And they do that every single day. And it's something that, the players absolutely love. Obviously, being in a hot country for the start of the season is great because you get different weather, especially to cold all our Europeans who are on tour.
Yeah.
A lot of them said obviously they'd come from minus temperatures to the 30 plus degrees in Kenya. But also they get to see the wildlife and experience something new. A lot of the rookies hadn't been to Kenya before, so it was a brand new experience for them. And it's one that you never forget, definitely seeing all the giraffes, and especially the giraffes. Everyone loves those.
Everyone loves it, yeah. And you mentioned the rookies there as well. I mean, we had a really good showing for the first event of the season from a lot of the rookies. I mean, in the top 10, you had Gabby Ruffles, Ami Aleth-Nissen, Yuri Nishi, all inside the top 10. I know it was a strong year last year for rookies. Are you sort of expecting the same this year? Is that a sign of things to come?
Yes, I think so. I'm very much expecting the rookies once again to be up there in the rankings, and we'll get quite a few first-time winners this year, I think. The same that we did last year. They're just, as I said before, with the COVID and staying at college a year younger, they're just a lot more experienced. They're kind of ready. They've got friends who are already on tour, so they want to immediately come on tour. They kind of, they're loving the vibe. And as I said, so many of them in Kenya loving the animals. So they just want to experience everything they can. Obviously, rookie season is difficult, learning more about yourself, but they all played so well last week, and I kind of expect that we're going to see that all the way across the season.
Brilliant, yeah. And that's what we want to see. And obviously from one very cool, unique location to another now, the first week to second week. So we go from Kenya to Morocco. For the Lala Merriam Cup at Royal Golf Dar es Salaam. What sort of should the players expect there? I know you've watched that before. It's the first time that the event's returning since 2019, isn't it? So it's exciting stuff for the players, and it should be a good event. Absolutely stacked field. What should we expect from Morocco?
Yeah, so obviously, as you said, it's been a while since we've been in Morocco. We stopped because of COVID, but we're back again. And Nuria Aturios, Spanish player, she's won there twice. And she is returning again this year. And as you said, absolutely stacked field with the majority of the top 10 from last season's race to Costa del Sol are in the field in the coming week. So they will be ready to start their seasons afresh and challenge again for the title. Again, there are at least 20 rookies taking part this week. So expect to see some new names and new faces up there. But obviously, one of the different aspects of this week is that there is a men's competition going alongside the women's competition, two different competitions happening, but they are happening at the same place. So obviously, George, you're going out there this week. Tell me a bit about what's happening with the men alongside.
Yeah, very exciting. So we've got the PGA Champions Tour coming over. I know they used to do a co-event with the European Tour itself. So obviously you've got the red and the blue course out in Rabat. And so they're going to be going on alongside one another, both 54-hole events. And it's really exciting, I guess. And it's great to raise the profile as well, because, the Champions Tour is obviously getting a different viewership than, say, the LET. And, they're coming together, and hopefully it can bring more eyeballs to the event. It's looking like a really fun event. I'm really excited. I know we've got a lot of collaborations going on as well, so keep an eye on our socials because we're going to be doing some collaboration with sort of the Champions Tour, and there's going to be some fun challenges going on with players there. It's a great week. I can't wait to get out, see some golf, get some sun. It's good for myself, first event, so it's very exciting, and a lot going on, and who can forget as well, a lot of eyeballs going to be on Inez Laklesh, home favourite from Morocco, from Casablanca. She obviously was the first Arab and first North African winner to win on the LET last year. There's going to be a lot of lot of storylines going into it. Looking at her, we're going to be doing an interview of her too. But yeah, that's going to be amazing. Hopefully, she can put on a strong performance on home soil.
And from my perspective, Ines is one of those who was a rookie last year. She played at Q School in December 2021, was an amateur still at the time, got her card, turned pro, obviously won on the LET last year, made history, and then headed over to LPGA Q Series and got status on the LPGA as well. So it just shows what can be done in a short period of time. And as you say, she's the home hero this week. So exciting to see how she starts her year.
Definitely, yeah. And of course, another player who's going to be there in attendance is Maja Stark, as we mentioned earlier. She is our special guest, riding on a ton of momentum from last year. So yeah, you were fortunate enough to chat to her this week. So take it away.
Yeah, so I had sat down with Maja shortly before the season started. She'd actually already started her season. Obviously, she plays on both the LET and the LPGA. So she'd already had her season opener, which was the Hilton Grand Vacations Tournament of Champions, back in Florida a few weeks ago, where she finished tied second. So her best ever start to a season as a professional. And we just went through a couple of things. I say a couple, as you'll hear, it's a relatively long interview, but she talked a lot about different mentality, some of her wins last year, obviously. So she's got 5 wins on the LET, as you said. 3 of them came in 2022. So 1 in Australia at the Women's NSW Open, 1 in Germany, the Amundi Germany Masters, and then the ISPS Handa World Invitational, which was co-sanctioned with the LPGA and meant that she got her LPGA card last year. So we spoke about that, balancing her schedule, but also the mentality of golf. She absolutely loves it. And it was noted when she started her season how much kind of happier she was at the start of the year playing in the tournament. If you've ever watched Maja play, sometimes she wears her emotions on her sleeve. You can see she gets frustrated. You can see when she's not happy with something that's happened. But that didn't really happen at the start of the year in her season opener. She was very happy on course. And so we spoke about that. She's made a couple of changes to 2023. So she's made sure to schedule in 6 hours of putting a week. So we spoke about why she's made those changes, and 6 hours might not sound a lot, but she said compared to what she'd been doing previously, it's a lot more. And it's also 6 dedicated hours. So she might be on the putting green for, 10 hours, because obviously you get distracted, but she wants 6 dedicated hours of putting. And yeah, she spoke about how, she's now kind of found herself within golf. And before, she'd get embarrassed at things she did, or she was a bit anxious, and she was nervous about doing interviews, especially in our interview. She says when she comes off the course immediately and has to speak to either myself or you, George, she doesn't know what to say. She immediately forgets what she's done in her round. Her brain is all over the place, but she's got so much better at it. And she was saying, yeah, she's full of energy now, much happier. You'll see her around the golf course. Whether that's doing her keepy uppies on the driving range, she brings Maja to the golf course, whereas sure she didn't do that previously. So big golden retriever energy now for Maja Stark heading into 2023. And obviously we spoke a little bit about the race to Costa del Sol last season, obviously where she finished second, and the battle she had with Lynn, and just all the different aspects of that. So a very wide-ranging interview, but as she's about to start her LET season, a good interview to start the year.
Yeah, amazing. Okay, let's give it a listen.
Hi, Maja. Welcome to the LET Golf Podcast.
Thank you.
How are you doing, first of all?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. And I would say it's off season, but actually your season has already started. Well done on your first tournament of the year. Obviously, a good result for yourselves. We'll start with that. Just because there's a couple of things you said throughout the week that I want to pick your brains on.
Okay. What did I say?
You said you were happy, Maja. You were a different person on the golf course. If anyone has ever watched Maja play, sometimes last year she got frustrated a couple of times at herself, but you said it's like it was a new Maja.
Yeah, my caddy, actually, I think he was the first one to say it. But yeah, I don't know why. I think the first round I was so calm. It just felt like I was just happy to be back. And every little mistake I made, I was like, ah, that's fine. I'll just, getting up and down is fine. But yeah, I don't really know why. I could kind of feel the frustration creeping in a little bit more towards the end when I, got back into tournament mode. But it was a nice first round, at least.
And we'll go back to the end of last season and your off season. Obviously, December you had off, but you had many things going on. It was your birthday. You went to a Swedish camp. You did a load of different things. Talk me through what December was like for you.
So I had a lot of motivation after the final. So, on the Monday after we played Finca, and then 3 days after that, I was itching. Like, I just wanted to get out of there, to get out and play again, or at least practice. But so I talked with my mental coach about it, and I said, how am I supposed to take some time off, because I don't want to? And he said, well, don't take time off then, just active recovery, we called it. So I didn't practice like crazy, because obviously I couldn't, because the course was in no condition to practice on, really. And then I got sick for a little bit, lost a little bit of motivation, when you're not around other players, or you're not at tournaments, you lose a little bit of motivation. So, but I think it was good to take a few more days off. I went to England to hang out with my friend, and then it was back on Swedish camp in Arizona with the Swedish golf team and some pros and some amateurs.
Just a mixture of things.
Yes, very much so.
And obviously in December, you posted on social media about how you reflected on last year. Obviously some frustrations that you had. Obviously you had such a great year with, getting your LPGA Tour status, winning more on the LET, obviously coming second in the race to Costa del Sol, etc. But there were still things that you weren't happy with. Talk me through why you kind of voiced that and how you felt about last year.
Yeah, I was writing that, and I have like a season book where I write down all the things I think, pretty much. And I was writing that when I was so frustrated with myself, like my blood was boiling, because I knew that there were so many things that I could have done better. Like everything from planning to practicing to like actually doing my stats, like putting them in the program, doing my training log. I just stopped doing that, kind of, because I thought, like, now I'm a pro. I have time to do nothing or whatever. I can do whatever I want now, because I don't really have a college coach or a national team coach like looking over me and telling me what to do. And I didn't really realize how good that was for me to actually do all those things. So I was very frustrated with that I didn't, fix it. But then I was like, well, how could I know that those things were so good for me when I haven't really been without them for, 7 years? So I think it was healthy to test, like, what's my golf like without all these structures around me. And apparently it's okay, but it could be a lot better. And I could, not have all that frustration in me. But yeah, it's fine. I'm over it.
But it was just something that you felt like you had to get out there.
Yeah, I actually wrote something, like, I looked at it 2 weeks afterwards, and I like added something in my kind of journal that was like, oh, a bit of self-reflection and time was needed here. It's actually not that bad, blah, 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 blah. So yeah, I'm over it.
Good. I'm so glad about that. And you talk about your mentality a lot on the golf course. Obviously, I know one thing that, for example, people have seen on social media would be how you react to different shots. So everyone has seen, not everyone, but the majority of people will have seen your shot in Germany on the last hole.
Are like terrified.
Yes, when you're tracking the ball. And obviously you ended up winning that tournament, but that at that point in time, it was not certain at all. If you can remember, what were you thinking when after you hit that shot and watching where the ball was going?
I didn't think that it was going to be that close. I thought I would still have like a pretty shaky putt to actually get the birdie. I don't really remember what I thought afterwards. I think I was just happy that it was somewhat close to the pin. But I know before I hit the shot, I was mostly focused on, my hands were shaking so much that I just tried to not touch the golf ball with my club when I was putting it down, because I was so nervous. It felt absolutely awful in the moment. And then, it's kind of good that when I'm stressed out or when I'm nervous, I play pretty good golf.
Yes, apparently so. And you talk about your mental coach a lot. How long have you been working with them, and how has that helped you?
I think we've worked since either 2016 or 2017. I don't really remember. His name is Marcus. He works with the national team, and I think he's probably like the best in the business. So I talk a lot with him and with my normal golf coach, Frederick, because Frederick's also very good at the mental stuff, just like more focused on golf, whereas Marcus is, I don't know. He's also focused on golf, but he has like other aspects of life intertwined with it, I guess.
And are you a process-driven person, as you mentioned earlier, with your structures that you like to have in place? Would you say that you're process-driven in how you do, or would you say it's different to that?
I've never really reflected on it, but I do like having, a schedule. So now I do a training log like every day, and I write quite a lot of things down. And I can't skip a day because I don't remember like my energy levels from the day before or whatever it is that I'm writing. So I actually do really enjoy it, but I've never thought that I was like this. Frida Kindholt, I feel, it's a lot like that, but has always been. And I thought that she was crazy for being like that. So no, I feel like I've been more focused on like, more driven by all the fun things to experience. Like if you get better, you get to experience. Well, first it was like playing for the national team, and then it was playing the World Championships or the European Championships, and then being on a team at college, it was you get to go to nationals or whatever, and now it's kind of Solheim Cup, Olympics, like international crown, those big things. So no, I don't really know yet, but I do enjoy it.
And for those people who've never used like a training log before, what is the type of stuff that you write down every day?
So it's quite a lot of things. I don't know if I'm keeping them all, maybe adding stuff to it because I just started a couple of weeks ago. But I write down how much I practice, like how many hours, how much I slept, kind of how much I ate, sugar levels, then like golf specific, what I practiced that day, and if I played, like what were my thoughts on that, and then I have a column with my mental part. So how can I improve until the next time, and what worked well, and same thing with my technical stuff. So it's very nice to have because I really feel now that I'm getting better every day because I'm really evaluating every day and seeing what I can do better instead of just going out playing or practicing and then go home and then do the same thing tomorrow. So now I'm actually trying to I have the structures to get a little bit better every day. consciously, I guess.
Yeah, I remember last year after a couple of tournaments, you said you think when something didn't go right, you were like, I think I know what went wrong, but I'm not sure that I did. And then you said you like evaluated it afterwards and realized actually it was something totally different.
Yeah. A lot of times when I see you, it's like straight after the round, and I'm so tired and I have not processed the round at all. So I really think I do the interviews at the wrong moment to say anything of value.
Whereas I presume, yeah, when you go back, you look at your training log, you write down and then you can actually see in front of you, okay, this is what happened, this is what happened.
Yeah. So I think it was kind of last week. Apparently, I said some things that Morgan Pressel. Obviously, she did the commentary for the LPGA that week, and she sent something to me saying, "Oh, your post-round interviews like are cracking me up." And I said, "Oh no, what have I said?" Because I have no idea what I said. I don't remember anything. I probably say stupid stuff all the time. So it's just not nice that you have those interviews straight after the round.
I mean, I did read your transcript last week and laughed at some.
Okay, cool.
some of the things you said.
I don't even know.
But I just knew it was you, particularly the bit where you were talking about the world rankings and then said Wagga.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you have not been an amateur for nearly 2 years.
I know. I'm that tired.
Getting better every day, is that kind of like a motto that you're using this year through the processes, or is that just something that you think is, as you said, consciously happening rather than unconsciously happening?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really thought of it as a motto. I just think it's like something that's going to help me a lot, and I just know that I don't know. I feel like my motto would be, I've heard a lot of people talk about the grind right now. I don't know if it's just because of the off season or something, but I was talking with my coach about it, and I said, is it really a grind if you enjoy it? Like, I don't practice because I get better. I practice because I get better and I think it's fun. So I can't say that I've really ever had like a training session that I haven't enjoyed, because if I don't enjoy it, why am I doing it? So I just think that's kind of funny that a lot of people, I mean, if it works for them, it works for them. But I want everyone to know that it doesn't just have to be a grind. You can actually enjoy it too, and still, practice a lot and become good at what you're doing.
And one thing that you practiced more last week was your putting. So is that through the training log you realized you weren't putting enough last year?
Well, it was a lot through, I went to my old high school coach to do some testing and stuff, and we only tested the irons and saw my technique with like my long game. And then he was looking through my stats, and he said, Maja, like, there are some things that you can get better at with your long game technique and stuff, but I mean, you're losing like 2 shots around in putting, so maybe you should practice that more. And I was like, oh, yeah, okay. And then I had another person say it too, another coach say it, so I was like, okay, time to actually do what I'm supposed to do, and that can save me a lot of shots, and it did last week. And
yeah, last year probably when I spoke to you, you were most frustrated was when you missed consistently shorter putts.
Yeah, I think I had one putt around pretty much under a meter that I missed.
Whereas now you're trying to eliminate that with your, is it 6 hours?
Yes.
Putting. And so do you just do different drills that you're working through every time that you have to do?
Yeah, and I make sure that it's like all focused. I do my routine, and when I feel like I can't focus anymore, I go do something else and then come back. Because, and I mean, if I want to do it, do my whole routine and actually have the focus that I'm supposed to, it does take a lot of energy and brain power, I guess. to do it. But I mean, if I'm going to do it for 4 days, 5 hours a day, every week, I really have to start practicing it like consciously and be very focused. So it does take a lot of energy. I mean, maybe an hour of putting might take 1.5 or 2 hours actual time, because I have to take breaks and stuff.
Do you notice when you're not focused anymore? Is there something where you kind of go, okay, I'm not concentrating, probably I need to stop here?
Yeah, so one of my goals for like processes is I say, okay, this putt is blah 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 centimeters outside left or outside right or whatever, and sometimes I feel like when I'm not specific with how many centimeters it is, that's when I should just take a break, because that's when, you know, I can't focus anymore.
And we'll go back to how you started in golf. What age did you first pick up a golf club?
I think I was 6. That's kind of the only thing to do here. I'm from a very small place, like village. So we only have a golf club, really. And my dad played and my grandpa played and my brother played. So we just went out on the little short course that they have there.
Obviously, golf was not the only thing that you did. You're a very sporty person. So I know it's pretty much every sport, but name some of the sports that you were also doing at the same time.
Well, it was only 2 other sports. I just love all the other sports too. But I played football from pretty much when I could walk until I was 13, because my dad was a football coach before, and he worked at a football club close to us. So I think I focused more on that than on golf. And then I started playing table tennis, which is also something, I guess it's very Swedish. I've been told that it's very Swedish to play table tennis, but I mean, we have 3 different size table tennis tables in my house. So yeah, very sporting family, but I only did that for about 2 seasons. And then I only had golf left. So then I just did that.
And you've proved that you are someone with many talents. For those who haven't seen Maja's videos on social media, she likes to do keepy uppies occasionally on the driving range or before a tournament round. That obviously comes from your football skills from when you were younger. Have you always kept that up, and is that something that you just find fun to be able to bring that out every now and again?
Yeah, so I think I got that little football when it was just a couple of months ago, because I talked with my mental coach about it, and I said I'm just at the practice grounds for way too long, because I just find it boring to be at the hotel or back at the house that we're renting or whatever. I just find it boring. I don't want to sit there and scroll through my phone or watch TV or anything. I think that's boring. So then we try to, you know, come up with something new to do, and something that I should actually bring to tournaments. Whereas, you know, my other hobbies, I can't really do that. So it was just a good distraction, and you know, it's a plus that people find it fun to watch too.
And something else that you did a couple of times last year, which you kind of brought out at ISPS in your final round, when you caught your club off the tee box. And then you've done that a couple of times since then as well. And again, those videos always go down as popular. Basically, Maja does her tee shot and then gets rid of the club off one hand and then catches it with the other hand, pretty much.
I've done that for so long. So I'm surprised that it became a thing, because I've done that for years. And I'm surprised that they haven't seen someone else do it. So I feel like people have done it. But yeah, I started it because I used to just drop my club when I hit a bad shot. Like most often when I thinned it, I would just drop it and I would leave it. And then someone told me, I don't think it's true, but someone told me that I would get fined if I drop a club. So I started catching it just to not get fined. So that's kind of how that started.
Do you remember how old you were when you first did it?
Probably like 16, 17. Yeah, we were at a training camp and I think I was playing with my high school coach and another player, and I was hitting the ball so badly and I just kept dropping my club. So then we had a secret Santa thing later that year, and one of the people that I played with, he gave me glue as the present because he just found it awful that I was dropping the club so much.
You mentioned other hobbies that obviously you can't bring on to the golf course or the practice areas. What does Maja do when she's not at the golf course? What other things do you like to do?
So I've played the drums since I was 8, and then guitar too. Just self-taught pretty much. But yeah, so I do that. But obviously I can't bring it. I know a commentator said that I bring my instruments to the tournaments, but I don't. Maybe if I got like a harmonica or something. But and then I actually recently for Christmas I got a little watercolor painting kit from my parents that I really enjoyed actually, which was a surprise because I've never really thought that I was very good at painting or drawing. But apparently I am, and I enjoy it. I don't know. I always need something to do. I think that's the thing.
Going back to tour life, obviously you decided that you didn't want to be a rookie for a whole year and you like to win tournaments in August and September and join a tour halfway through the year, basically.
So like to do it is a strong word. It just happened. I mean, I think I would have preferred the other way.
So obviously you won Creek House back in 2021 to get your LET membership just a few weeks after turning professional. What was that experience like, getting that win so early, and then the fact that you got another win just a month later?
That was very, I don't know, unexpected, I guess. But that was kind of the same thing as the LPGA one. You know, it was my last chance to, get the card through something other than qualifying. But I was so nervous. I was very frustrated after that first day. I think I shot level par, and then I shot -7. But that was after a very frustrating start. But then I think I shot -8 my last 11 holes, and then I kind of got the momentum going. But then during the weekend I was just a nervous wreck. I had my coach as a caddy because he was the only person there that I knew, so I had him as a caddy, and I was nervous. I could feel my heartbeat on every shot during the weekend, and that's never happened before, and it hasn't happened since. But I remember telling my coach when I got to the golf course on Sunday morning, I just told him, Frederick, I'm gonna throw up. I'm so nervous that I will throw up. And fortunately I didn't, and I kept it together. But yeah, I was so exhausted after that week. It was also like my 4th tournament in 3 weeks or something, so it was a lot.
Yeah, you'd played on the Access Series as well as the LET, all in Sweden, so you just had a busy couple of weeks.
Yeah.
But obviously, so joining the tour in September of that year, then you played the following events up until the end of the year. But how was that, joining the tour? And obviously you just mentioned your friends are on tour now, creating friendships, meeting new people, probably meeting some people who you haven't seen since your amateur days or since you were in college. What was that like?
It's a lot of fun. Yeah, it's just weird because when I played on the national team, we were 4 people that were the same age. Me, Frida Kinholt, Beatrice Wall, and Lynn Grant. And then Frida went out on tour earlier, and she played the Epson and the LPGA. And Bea stayed in college, and Lynn came out. Well, she turned pro at the same time as me, but she didn't get her tour card until a little bit after. So it was just very weird to do it alone, because we've always kind of thought that we would be at the same place, or at least I thought so. So it was very fun, and I guess challenging to, you know, make new friends and have it not go as you expected. But I think that the time alone that we've all had from each other and from the national team has been a good thing, because we've, you know, developed more and had to meet new people and get to know them, and I just think that it's a good thing. And but now we're kind of going back to the same tour, so it's a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed meeting new people. You know, some of my best friends on tour are people that I haven't met before I turned pro, so it's a lot of fun.
And you basically replicated the same thing in the summer of 2022 by securing LPGA status by winning ISPS, and then going to the LPGA for kind of the end of the year until coming back to Spain for the LET finale at the end of last year. ISPS, talk me through that final round, because obviously you just kind of went lights out and just decided, okay, I'm winning this. Goodbye.
Yeah, but I didn't really look at the leaderboards, and so I didn't know that after 17 holes, I think I was leading by 5, and then I could almost, you know, breathe again. But that's kind of the same thing as with Greek House, you know, last chance to prove myself, and I had a really disappointing week the week before. And I was just ready to actually play some good golf and, you know, not let my mental game ruin it for me, because I think that's what, obviously it was tough conditions at Muirfield, but I think that last round, that was all in my head that just ruined it. But I feel like at the ISPS, it was my mental strength that actually got me through that whole Sunday, because every time I would get nervous, I would tell myself, well, whatever happens, I'm proud of myself. But that's usually something I don't say to myself, because I just never thought that it worked. But then I could actually feel my heart rate going down. So that was kind of a crazy experience. But yeah, I don't even know what to say. It wasn't, I didn't have that good, my putting wasn't that good, but my irons were, I think I gained 6.2 strokes with my irons those last 18 holes compared to the PGA Tour average. So that helps.
Yeah, for sure. I remember watching it and just thinking, yep, she's going to win. There's no doubt about it. And again, like when you were coming into 18 on that round, obviously, as you said, you've seen the leaderboard and how many shot lead you had. You knew that there weren't that many groups behind you, just a few more. What was the feeling that you had on 18 on that day?
Well, I was taking my driver out of the bag, I think, and my caddy, Sophie, she goes, no, it was before I took my driver. She goes, okay, what are you thinking? And it was obviously a drivable hole, I mean, you could reach in 2 easily if you just took a driver. So I was like, what are you talking about? I'm playing so well. Of course I'm hitting driver. Like, we're going to keep pushing. So I hit a driver, you know, got it down there middle of the fairway, and then oh my god, I pulled my 4-iron so far left, it wasn't even close to hitting the green. But I don't know if that was nerves or that was just a bad shot. I mean, I hit it center of the club face, so I thought it was going to be good, but then I looked at it and it was just going straight left. But you know, it was fine. I don't think I freaked out that much, because I knew that, you know, the pin was kind of sitting nicely for a wedge, because I just aimed like 4 meters out to the right, and then the slope brought it in close to the pin, so managed the same par anyway. But it was just a little, I don't know, a little weird finish since I actually hit my irons so well that day. But I don't know. I don't think I was that nervous. I was kind of scared of doing like a Scotty Scheffler or something, just for putting, just putting around the hole.
And you mentioned Sophie Gustafsson, who was on your bag. What was it like having her with you there? Obviously, you had her there for the kind of co-sanctioned summer stretch. You mentioned at the time that obviously she gets you. You have a similar game, you know, understands where you're coming from. So do you think that helped during that specific tournament? As you say, on that day, do you think she just helped calm you down even more?
I don't know. I don't think she really did anything differently, which I think is good. I don't think it's good to have a caddy that will be like, okay, just calm down, because I think that would have just stressed me up even more. But no, I just think that it was good because obviously she seemed really cool, calm, and collected, and I think she was, because you know she was just happy to be there and just she looked very smug, very satisfied, I guess, the last 9 holes. But then when we were walking up to the green on 18, she just said, you know, enjoy it and take it all in because it's a good feeling. And I don't think I would have done it if she didn't say it, because I don't know, I get kind of embarrassed when people are looking at me. But then I actually made sure to kind of look around a little bit when I was walking there. And yeah, I just think it was just a cool moment to, especially for her, because I had played so bad the weeks before. So it was fun to actually show off my game for once.
Do you have any plans for after golf? So obviously you're still very fresh in your career, and I'm sure you'll have a long career, but is it something that you've kind of always got in the back of your mind that you have to have a plan for when golf comes to an end, or is that not something that you think about at all?
No, it is. I do. It's kind of coming back like pretty often when I have an off season or I take a couple of weeks off. I'm like, do I really enjoy golf that much? Maybe I should do this instead. And I've had a couple of instances just this past year where I've thought that way. And then it's been like firefighter. I mentioned to Morgan that I wanted to be a firefighter or like a psychologist. But now I realize that maybe I would more like to do something with the Golf Federation. So either a coach or something with the Swedish Olympic Committee. You know, because I love the Olympics and it would be so cool to work with that and to work with athletes trying to get there. But I think that's it. But I've also realized that there are a lot of things that I'd want to do. And I'm starting to see that as a good thing, instead of a bad thing that I have to choose. It's that I get to choose between a lot of things, and you know, it's a good feeling.
Well, why did you say firefighter and psychologist? Why were they the two things that kind of jumped out that you were like, yes, that's what I can be?
I think the firefighter thing is just because I think it's cool to help, and you know, firefighters are just cool people. I feel like there's no one who doesn't like firefighters. So that would be that. And psychologist, I always feel like I like knowing my own emotions, and I like you know, learning what other people are like and how they're feeling. It was like in college, it wasn't a motto or something. It was just something that I said a lot, and my friends pointed it out that I kind of said, "Have you cried today?" A lot, and it was just because I wanted to know how they were feeling, how they were doing, and yeah. So I think that's where it comes from. I don't think it's anything more than just I'm a little bit nosy, maybe, but I just like to know that how people are doing, and I want to help them if they're feeling bad.
Maya, your goals for 2023. Do you have any goals that you're happy to share? That you
I do. No, if I'm happy to share them, but I will. So top 20 on the Rolex ranking, not on the Wagger. I know that now. And I want to be in the Solheim Cup team. And what else was it? Oh, I want to win a major this year. I feel like it could be possible if I just do what I'm supposed to.
Especially if you stick to your processes.
Exactly. 6 hours of putting.
Prepare for that big summer run of majors. So obviously you just mentioned Solheim Cup. When was do you remember the first time you watched or have a memory of the Solheim Cup?
Yeah, so well, honestly, I haven't really watched the whole Solheim Cup because we didn't have the channel. So it was always just like talked about, but I could never actually watch it live on TV. So the first thing that I saw was a documentary about the 2013 Solheim Cup when it was in Colorado, and Europe won for the first time on American soil. And we had Swedes on the team, and we had a Swedish captain. So, I was so amazed, and I just thought this is the coolest thing ever, because obviously I love team sports. I played football for a long time, and to just, Caroline Headwall, she won all 5 of her matches, first rookie to ever do so. Or was she a rookie? I think she was a rookie. First player to ever do so, and that was really cool. I thought, and she was just like my hero, and so it's kind of insane to have played with her so many times now. And I do get a little bit embarrassed. My mom walked up to Caroline at the final last year and said, "Hey Caroline, can I just get a picture with you and Maja? Could you just like stand close to each other?" And I was so embarrassed, but I was actually very happy to take that picture, because she has been such an inspiration for me for so long.
Mum's always doing embarrassing things.
Yeah.
So you mentioned you love Olympic sports. Was it always something in your household growing up where you'd watch the Olympics and just kind of see all these different sports and all these different people and just camp out?
Pretty much.
Watch sport.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Especially these past couple of years. Obviously we watched, always the track and field, because that was always a big thing, especially when I was younger, in 2004, 2008, when Sweden had a really good track and field team. And then, we watched it in school. We watched the Winter Olympics in school, and that was in high school. So I don't really know if that was allowed, but we did. They put it up during class, and we just had it on a projector. So yeah, it's just a lot of fun, and I really want to see it, and I really want to experience it, because it looks like the most fun week ever. And I just hear people say that it's such a fun week. It's so much fun to watch, and I feel like to be a player and participant and watch it would be even cooler and a new thing compared to just going to the Olympics and watch it like that, because you actually get the whole experience with the Olympic Village opening ceremony or closing ceremony. And that would just be a dream come true, because I've always wanted to be an athlete of some sort, but I didn't really care about, or be professional, but I didn't really care about what sport that would be. Mm-hmm. So that would be amazing to qualify for that.
I was gonna say, if you could pick one Olympic sport that's not golf that you could represent Sweden and go to the Olympics for, what would it be?
It might be ski cross, actually, just because it's so cool, and because they're a little bit crazy and just very brave.
Are you good at it? Have you ever done it?
No, I have kind of tried it, but I'm too scared I won't go over the jumps at those speeds because I can't really afford to get injured right now.
So Maja, obviously you mentioned your family.
Wait, hold on. Mamma, jag håller på att snacka. Ja, hej då. Sorry, she just walked in.
I love how I literally just said your mum and then she walked in.
I know. I didn't even know she was home.
Yeah, you mentioned obviously your parents and your brother earlier on. How important is kind of your family to you, and how important have they been so far in your golf career?
They're pretty important. I mean, I don't like to get sentimental, but they've always been there supporting me. And you know, when I went to high school, that was a big thing. You know, more expenses to like pay for my rent and stuff like that, and actually drive me everywhere across the country. I mean, Sweden's pretty big, so that's a big thing to commit to. But if it feels like they've never hesitated to do that, and they will come watch me at tournaments. And I had a while where I didn't like when they came to watch, and I kind of regret that I didn't like it. But you know, that was my teens. A lot of things I did then that wasn't very good, but.
And you've had your brother on the bag for a couple of tournaments. How, I know that you obviously both get along really well and that he understands you. What's it like when he's able to come out on the bag?
You know, we do get along very well, but I think there's also some frustration sometimes because, you know, I don't know what he's expecting, but I'm expecting to be at a golf tournament and act like I usually do. But I guess he thinks that it's more fun than that. Like he wants to see more things, I guess. So I don't know. The last one we did was kind of, there was a lot of emotions, and I think we were kind of frustrated with each other. But I was very happy that he came and actually helped me, because that was my 5th week in a row. A lot of time zone changes, so I really needed that. And I think we had fun. I mean, I feel like I should have probably made it more comfortable for him to be there, because we were sharing a room. We weren't staying at the best place. You know, it was kind of boring, the whole area that we were in. So I feel like I could have made it much nicer for him to be there. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. He knows me so well, so he knows what not to say. And he's a good caddy. He knows golf. It's just a lot of fun. And I'm actually going up to see him next week for the first time since the LET final. So excited about that. And
were there people that you looked up to? Obviously, you mentioned Caroline Headwall earlier, someone that you did. But were there others as well as her that you kind of looked up to as you were growing up as someone, as kind of a role model?
Yeah, I think there were a couple of people. Usually not really because of their achievements. It was usually for their personalities. So I was very introverted before, and I very often felt very embarrassed about, you know, anything really, things I said, things I did. And I think when I it was usually people that were like a little bit older than me, maybe 3 or 4 years older, and I just saw how much they knew themselves, and that they weren't afraid of saying stupid stuff and things like that. And I just loved that about them. And I really thought, wow, one day I might become that person. And so there have been several people, but usually just other golfers that were a little bit older than me. Some people have stopped playing golf, some still do. But it's very funny to think, because I've had people on the national team, you know, comment on that when I started on the team, I didn't really talk. I didn't really say anything. I didn't really show off my personality and stuff. And now I'm the complete opposite. I say embarrassing things all the time. I don't really think before I say stuff sometimes, especially in interviews. So that's not, I guess that's not great, but I feel like I'm so happy to be in a headspace where I can actually say that and just be like, oh, that was stupid, I'll just move on. Whereas before, I think that would really just mess with my brain for a long time before I could move on. So I think having those people around me that I could just look up to and watch how they were doing it, and just see how they love to be themselves. I think that really helped.
Yeah, for sure. You definitely do say stupid things. Well,
thanks.
You balance it out.
Thanks.
By saying good things. Final topic will be music, Maja. We know you like to listen to lots of different music. Especially you've always got headphones on pretty much most of the time.
Yes.
How important is music for you? Kind of in golf, but also outside of golf. Like, how do you use music in your life?
I don't know. I don't really know if I use it in a special way. I mean, playing instruments, sure, it passes the time, and I think it's fun. But I don't know if I really use it. Sometimes I guess it could become a distraction because I listen to music so much that I kind of forget to, be in the moment. Kind of because I'm always, I don't know, daydreaming. But I really enjoy it, and I mean, I think I don't know. I just like it, but it's almost to the point that it's a distraction rather than something that helps me. And
do you listen to specific playlists when you're like practicing, or when you're in the gym, or when you're doing different things? Do you have, different playlists for different moods, or do you just go with whatever you want?
I do have different playlists, but they usually don't make any sense. I have a workout playlist that I sometimes listen to when I want to relax, and that's not really what it's for. And then I have a sleeping playlist that I actually would regularly listen to in the gym. So it doesn't really make any sense. So I just listen to what I want when I feel like it. But then, I mean, I have, I think, 1,250 songs on my Spotify in my normal playlist. So there's a lot of variation there. But when I'm putting, I like to listen to punk rock or punk pop, or I don't know. It just makes it a little more fun, I guess, because putting isn't always my favorite thing to do. But this just makes it a little bit better. But that makes me enjoy putting more. I mean, I was talking about the grind or whatever, and I feel like I haven't put up with putting that much because I didn't like the grind. But when you have a purpose, you enjoy it more. And when I'm listening to music, I enjoy it more. So I actually enjoy putting practice now.
Okay, so round off the podcast, I have a quick quiz for you. You have 60 seconds to name the 12 Swedes who have represented Team Europe in the Solheim Cup. Okay, ready, steady, go.
Caroline Hedwall, Anna Nordqvist, Madeline Sackström, Katrin Nilsmark.
Yeah.
I'm guessing. Annika Sörenstam.
Yes.
Sophie Gustafsson.
Yes.
Maria McBride. No? Okay.
I haven't. She might have changed her name. Potentially, yes.
Karen Koch. Oh, yes. Her name was Hjort before?
Hjort, yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
Lotta Neumann.
Mm-hmm.
Helen Alfredsson.
Mm-hmm.
Linda Westberg.
Mm-hmm.
Just one more.
Yeah. You got 10 seconds.
I'm so sorry to whoever this is. No.
There we go. Time up.
This is so frustrating. Who is it?
Charlotte Sorenstam.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Because they became the first sisters.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Someone else stole her spotlight, I think.
Okay, Maja, well done. You got 11 out of 12 on that quiz to round off the interview. So thank you very much for taking the time to come on the LET Golf Podcast. And I hope you enjoyed our conversation.
I did. Thank you.
So there we have it, a fascinating talk with Maja Stark there about her career and her life on and off the golf course as she gets ready for what's going to be an exciting 2023 season for sure. So we hope you enjoyed the first ever episode of the LET Golf Podcast. We're going to have plenty more for you in store as the 2023 season unfolds. That's going to include a whole range of guests from the golfing world coming up throughout the year. Episodes will be coming out every Wednesday moving forward, so make sure you leave us a review and subscribe on Spotify or Apple Music or wherever you find your podcast really. And we look forward to having you join us throughout the year.